Well, good evening. It is late. Welcome to another episode of Rob Report. I'm your humble host, Robert Bob TV Brown. How are you doing today? I'm doing great. Other than the fact that Roland Martin looked at one of my videos and gave me a copyright strike. Here I am, one of the top black media hosts in America today. A man who interviewed various politicians, including presidents. A man who worked for major networks. A man who interviewed Ice Cube and other famous people. Let little old me get in his skin. To the point that he had to personally attack little old me. They give me a copyright strike on YouTube and I can't go live on YouTube right now because of that copyright strike of an old video that I did about a year ago about Bernie Sanders, the Green Party, and and reparations and things like that. I wasn't even talking about him. But because Joe Stein was on his show, I showed the show that he was the anchor on. Now, mind you, the video was TV One. It wasn't the Roland Martin show, unfiltered. It was TV One. And TV One fired Roland. Fancy word is they let him go. They fired him. So he started his own network, doing pretty good. I mean, he already had a built-up audience. And sometimes Roland can be good. Most of the time, he's just another lapdog for the corporate media. Even though he has his own media company, he's still a lapdog for corporate media. He kisses up the politicians just to get the money that he needs so he can start his own network. He's doing all this butt kissing just to get the money that he needs from legislators so he can start his own network. He's not interested in helping other black people start their own network. He just wants to start his own network. This Negro wants to be Byron Allen. And you can never, ever be Byron Allen. You can never, ever. You might as well just go get a job working for him. So he had to strike little on me. Yeah, it's okay. All right. I mean, YouTube, check your subscription. Make sure you subscribe because people tell me YouTube unsubscribed them without their permission. I go from 10,600 to 10,100 in less than 6 months. Are you really kidding me? I'm not that bad. I mean, I fight hard for my people on this platform, and most of the time I do talk about reparation for blacks, Native American blacks, or American descendants of slaves, or descendants of American slave, or foundational black, whatever you want to call it. I do go hard for that, and I make this a major issue, just like some of you make healthcare a major issue on your platform, $15 an hour minimum wage. I mean, I'm for all that, but more important, I'm for my people getting what they need. So I can understand people got tuned out for that, but you can't tell me 600. Anyway, let's get into it because I told you about the part 2 that I'm going to go through these different methods of the black media, the so-called black media, really corporate media, white supremacist media that has black lackeys on the round table or in their panel. And again, remember, when it comes to black issues, the white newscasters cannot say anything about these issues until the black panelists voice an opinion first. So they're going to talk about the subject and then they're going to go to one of the panelists because the panelist is designed to open up the way for them to come behind them and dump on black. So they might have Roland Martin on the show. They may have, Tamron Hall. They may have Joy Reid. They may have you name it. They come and crap on black people who are not following the directions of partyism. They're following their own tune. They're separating. They don't want to try to get their power through partyism. They want to get it on their own within their own community. They want to get on the up and get upset and try to put the noose, so to speak, on our neck to try to bring us back in. Not like hanging us or lynching. I'm talking about like you do a bull when he's running wild. You want to put the noose on his neck, put a noose on his feet, tie him up and bring him back to the barn. That's what those type of media personalities do when they're on those networks. Now, I'm going to show you that on the next video. But on this video, we're going to talk about Roland Martin has Ice Cube on his show as his guest. Ice Cube is going to explain to him that I didn't have none of you guys sending me a line on me saying that I met with the Trump campaign. I met with Trump campaign and I met with the Biden campaign about my black agenda. I'm not part of no club. I'm not part of nobody's team. I'm on Team Black, and whoever can implement some of this stuff, then I'm going to help them implement it. Whether I believe they're going to do it or not is besides the point. My job is to force somebody to the table to do it, or I'm going to call them out. You can't say that I didn't come to your table or I didn't come to your campaign about a black issue. I went to you, I went to you, and I went to you, and both of you guys turned me away. So we're going to go into this real quick. And I can't show the video because this is on Roland Martin's network. So I'm not allowed to show the video because he'll give me another strike because that's the little punk. I'm trying not to cuss. That's the little punk, whiny, crybaby, sugar bear, can't get enough of that golden crisp from the DNC. Punk he is. Let's go into this. I got to put an image up. So hang in there with me. And we'll talk about this. Hang in there with me, guys. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I got to find an image and put it up. Because I can't show the video. Because he's going to give me a strike. Little bitty crybaby. All right, do I got an image of Roland Martin and this man up here? Other than the one that I already had put up. Yeah, nope. Give me a moment. I got an image. Just hang in there with me, people. Hang in there with me. I got an image somewhere. Hope you guys having a good day. Hope you guys are having a good day. Now, while I'm looking up this, I want you guys to go back sometime today, later on today, and look up, go on YouTube and put in The Ballot or the Bullet by Malcolm X. And that will give you a sense of direction on how voting should be done. And nothing else. There we go. All right, so here we go. I'm going to play the video, and let's rock and roll.
Has been a busy 24 hours for Ice Cube since Republicans supporting Trump sent this tweet out yesterday. This went out from Deontay Johnson. So Ice Cube has officially given the Trump campaign permission to reveal that he has been helping us develop President Trump's groundbreaking Black Trump platform, the Platinum Plan. Katrina Pearson, he was also had this here. Shout out to Ice Cube for his willingness to step up and work with Donald Trump administration to help develop the Platinum Plan. That has caused a lot of people to be very critical of Ice Cube. Many call him a turncoat and all kind of other names. And so as opposed to sitting here having people just talk about it, we said we'll talk to him. He joins us now. Glad to have you back on Roland Martin Unfiltered, Ice Cube. So let's start this way. When they say you worked with them to develop the Platinum Plan, what does that actually mean? What did you do? Who did you talk to?
Well, what they did, they had a plan. Their plan is the Platinum Plan. My plan is the Contract with Black America. So they had their Platinum Plan, and they saw things in the Contract with Black America that were directed, directly to Black Americans and not just to all minorities. And they asked to speak with us. I always told everybody, as soon as we finish the Contract with Black America, or not finish because it's still a growing document, I told everybody that I was going to meet with both sides, and I don't know why they didn't believe me. This is not a partisan issue. It's actually a bipartisan issue. And we have to talk to people who have the power to make things happen. Now, they asked to speak to me so I can.
All right, I've been doing all this talking and my mic was off. I was saying, what is wrong with Ice Cube going to Trump? Well, Trump is a liar and a bigot. You don't think Joe Biden's a liar and a bigot? Do you know his habitual pathological lying record? His record of plagiarism over and over again. He had to drop out of race twice for lying, for copying other people's speeches. That man lie more than the sun. Trump is a big lie. Don't get me wrong. Trump is Sir Lie a lot. But Biden is mixed master lie. Guys, you know, remember when Biden said, look me over. If you don't like me, vote for the other Biden? He meant Trump. Trump is the other Biden. Pathological lying, bigot, racist, with rape allegations. Both of them. You can believe whether they're true or not. We don't know that. We don't know that. But we do know both of them lie. We know one got a bigoted mouth. We know one pushed bigot policies since he's been in the Senate. We know that. We know both have said racist things. We know that. To put yourself in a position of strength, in order to get the other people to come to your side, you got to go talk to somebody they don't like. And see, that's what they fear. They fear the nerves of Ice Cube going to talk to Trump. Trump ain't going to do nothing. And true, Trump ain't going to do nothing, but the nerves of him to go. The nerves of you to think that he shouldn't go. Lyndon B. Johnson was one of the biggest racist presidents we ever had in our life. He couldn't stand Dr. Martin Luther King. He saw Martin Luther King as a thorn in his flesh, and that was his job, to be a thorn in the flesh of Lyndon B. Johnson. Kennedy was gone. He had a little more favor with Kennedy, but Kennedy died in Texas, the home of Lyndon B. Johnson. Hint, hint. You don't think something was funny with that? The man go to Lyndon B. Johnson state and get killed? You don't think that? Oh, you think that's just a conspiracy or coincidence? But now Johnson got to deal with the Texan. Johnson got to deal with Dr. Martin Luther King, the preacher, and civil rights. It wasn't about party when it came to the civil rights movement. It was about black empowerment. Black empowerment say, look, I don't like neither one of your parties. You could be a Dixiecrat or whatever. I don't like you. But I need to get something done for my people. And if you want to get our vote. If you want to get our vote, if you want to get our support, if you want to get our endorsement, this is what you're going to do first. Ice Cube is doing the same thing. So why shouldn't he go talk to Trump, the Lyndon B. Johnson that's in office right now? You may think he won't do, but there's ways to force somebody to do what you want. You just got to have the right leverage to get them to cave in. That's the whole thing about negotiations. When you have leverage over somebody, you can get them to cave in. That's the reason why. That's why I understand why Bernie Sanders, he had the leverage to force Joe to do at least 5 of his policies. Joe have not agreed to none of his policies yet. Yet, Bernie Sanders is going to say Joe is going to be the most progressive president since FDR. No, you were supposed to be the most progressive president since FDR, but you was too much of a punk to let them rig and cheat and do you wrong. You were too much punk to call it out because Joe Biden is your good friend. And now you expect the people who supported that platform, they didn't support you, Bernie Sanders, they supported that platform. You expect to throw that platform to the side. You can go support Joe Biden. But Joe Biden ain't supporting that platform. So if you get upset because people are not voting for Joe because Joe did not embrace that platform, which will guarantee him a win, then that's your fault for not doing what you needed to do to get Joe Biden to support your platform. Because if you don't make him do something, he ain't got to do nothing. If you don't have any leverage over him. See, you had tens of millions, you had millions of people, you had a whole bunch of independents, you had a whole bunch of non-voters, and some Democrats that were at your beck and call, and you could have put the pressure on Joe Biden and say, look, if you don't adopt at least 5 of these things on this platform, my supporters ain't voting for you. You think Joe Biden's going to let that go? Well, he probably will, because he's, cocky, arrogant people, they figure they don't need nothing. They figure you should just support me. And if you don't get them to support me, something wrong with you. No, bruh. If you don't get people to support you for president, something is wrong with you. And that's what Ice Cube is trying to tell both Trump and Biden, that if you want black people to continue to push you over the hump, see, we push Democrats over the hump every year, every election, in the high 90% when it comes to going out there and voting, physical voting. We, not the Latinos, not the gays, not white women, it's blacks. Number 1, black women. Number 2, black men. Both of us vote in the high 90s. We are the lifeblood of that party. We are the heartbeat of that party. So it's time for that party to start taking care of their heart. Heart transplants are more easy and more effective today than ever. Somebody can go get a heart transplant and live a regular life like it was it's easy now. Back in the day, it was hard. You get a heart transplant and you probably would make it past 90 days. But now people get a heart transplant, they put that thing in perfect, and you can live a normal life. What I'm saying is Democrats better start recognizing who is the heartbeat of the party and start taking care of their heart. All right, let me keep going. I'm sorry.
Explain some of my concepts of the contract with Black America.
Who is they? Was it Donald Trump? Was it his campaign team? Was it officials in the White House? Who's they?
I've never met Donald Trump a day in my life.
Got it.
Now, key. Here's Ice Cube, superstar. Donald Trump at one time was a TV star. Cube never met with Ice Cube. Cube just said, I never met with him. So why are y'all crapping over this man like he met with him? The campaign saw his black agenda, and the campaign was interested. You can't do nothing about that. I can't do nothing about that. All right, what's the difference between Trump campaign looking at that idea to try to get some black votes and Biden looking at that idea to try to get some black votes? You actually think one of these parties own us? You don't own us. We own you. Especially the Democratic Party. Black people own that party. It's just that black people haven't woken up to take over the party. That party would be nothing without us. Now, we know the white people own the Republican Party, but we can go in there and take over that party if we wanted to, too. We are the most valuable voting bloc in the freaking world. And when we wake up to realize that we run-ish, we can start gaining some power, but we are not waking up. We let these punks fear us into voting for the lesser two evil when you need to realize, black people, you are the greater good. You determine who get in office. Now understand this. This is the same talk that I'm doing right now. Malcolm X talked about in the ballot or the bullet. That's why I say go back and listen to that essay from Malcolm X. He was right on it. They always come to us to get them over, but they don't want to do nothing for us. And they tell you we're not in power, so we can't do anything until we in power. So in other words, I got to give up my leverage over you, put you in office, hoping I can get my leverage over you once you're in office. You can't do that. You can't hold people feet to the fire, bruh. Once they get in office, you just gave them what they wanted. They have no obligation to do a doggone thing for you until it's time to run for election again, and they're going to run that same old tie-behind playbook of fearing you, fear-mongering you, or telling you, get me in another 4 years, another 2 years, and I'll do it. And then you get them in again, nothing. Every single year, every single election cycle, nothing for us. Everything for gays, everything for Latinos, everything for DACA. Oh, they're gonna go all out. Let's get some legislation for some Muslims. And I'm not saying none of that is wrong, but bruh, you got to understand that we are your lifeblood. If anybody you should be going bodyguard hard for, it's black people. Your heartbeat. And they haven't. And look, understand this. Kamala Harris is not our reparation. She don't represent black empowerment. Black empowerment cannot be embodied in a person. It's embodied in a group of people.
And I've never been to the White House. Okay. So it was people on his campaign. This chick who put out the tweet, it wasn't her. I never met her either. I don't even know who she is.
Katrina Pearson, you don't know who that is, never met her.
No.
So, Roland, if somebody put out a tweet saying Ice Cube is helping them with their platinum plan, you dummies automatically believe it instead of fact-checking it. You fact-check everything that Donald Trump say to prove he's a lie, but you won't fact-check something like this. Oh, boy, I tell you. Ice Cube said, I never met with that lady. I had nothing to do with that tweet she put. You know, people going to tweet whatever they want, Roland. And y'all take a mountain and make it a molehill and make it into a mountain.
I've never met her.
Okay.
But the thing is this. They looked at the contract with Black America, and they saw that their plan was lacking, and they wanted to implement some of the things from the contract with Black America into their plan.
Now, Cube said their plan was weak. They saw something in my plan that would give them a little more strength. So they looked at implementing it. And Roland, what is wrong with that, bruh? Trump is a racist. He ain't going to do it. That's not the question I asked you. What is wrong with them putting it in their policies before the election when Joe Biden is saying, come see me after the election? You cannot expect to get politicians to do something for you after you've given them the victory. I mean, it's kind of like this. I mean, you got some old sneaky, slimy men out here, you know. When I court somebody, I'm courting them for at least a year before I even think about proposing marriage. Honestly speaking, you know, I ain't 100% perfect at this, but if I'm in a serious relationship, I don't focus on anything but that relationship. I don't put my focus on the sex. I don't put that focus on the romance. So none of all that stuff is good. Don't get me wrong. But I put the focus on building the relationship. More important, the friendship. Now, how I got on that, I have no freaking clue. You got to build a friendship. You got to build some kind of consensus.
And I said, you're welcome to do it. And
And he told her, you're welcome to do it. So, yeah, he said if they see something in his plan and they want to put it in, if it's really going to serve black people, do it. I'm not on nobody's team. If Biden want to put it in his plan, go for it. If Trump want to put it in his plan, go for it. The problem is, you think the nerves of Trump to put in his plan, he's putting his plan to try to get some black votes. He's not putting it because he care about black people. You actually think Joe Biden will put that in his plan because he really care about black people? But most of these politicians just want your vote. They'll say anything but do nothing. Because that's the name of the game. That's why you got to lock them in with a commitment, with a contract. You say you want, if you say you do, put it in the contract. Newt Gingrich did it with the contract of America. Put it in the contract so you can go back and monitor yourself, gauge yourself. See, there's a difference between a contract. Well, contract and a covenant. Covenant is a little bit stronger. Usually when you do a covenant or you do a contract, in the contract, you have what you propose and what you've accepted. I've done contract negotiations in a union setting. And when we go in to do negotiations of a contract, each party have their demands. And then they meet in the middle with their demands. Now, how far you meet into the middle depends on the leverage that you have. One of the greatest leverage a company that has union workers there is the ability to shut the company down. See, the company don't have that leverage, and the company don't want to shut down business. But if that company don't start bending to the knee of the workers can threaten them with a lawful strike. They can't do an illegal strike. They can't strike anytime they want. They can't say, screw this, I'm out of here. They actually have to get a legal strike. It could be a unfair labor practice strike. It could be a unfair wage strike. It's so many different ways you can strike against a company. But it has to get approved by the NLRB. And once you got the approval, you can put the pressure on the company and say, if you don't do it by this time, we're going to strike. Now, it still go back to leverage. The amount of people that is willing to go on strike. 4 people in a company of 600 striking ain't going to get it done. You can't even have 200. You need the majority. We need at least 350 that's willing to strike. See, that is leverage. And what Ice Cube is trying to do, and he ain't the only one doing this now. For some reason, he think he was the only one that had this idea to do this. I mean, Puffy with this black party crap, that ain't nothing. Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell, they got ADOS 101. You got, you got Sandy Derry and all these, and Claude Anderson. They have something going on. The key is leverage. The more people begin to join behind the Contract for America, the more we can get these politicians to do something for us. You're not going to get these politicians to do nothing for you if you keep giving them an easy vote. Stop being a slut voter. Stop giving up the vote for nothing. I mean, at least take her to dinner, man. No, you can't expect to go to women, just look at her and say, hey, hello, let's get busy. Now, you probably get some women like that, but they're rare. And that kind of woman, boy, you might want to say, I don't know. That's a little too easy. I remember, man, I went to the club and I went to girl looking nice at the bar, gave her 2 blue motorcycles. She was ready to go home and get busy. I'm like, I'm a pass. That was too easy, man. It was too easy. 2 drinks, she ready to go. Too easy. Black people got to stop being too freaking easy to these politicians. They give you a little thing here and there, and you're ready to give up your vote. No. You're valuable. You don't understand how valuable you are. That's why I would never let nobody know that they got my allegiance or my vote until the last minute. I'm going to fight you to the last minute. You're going to give me some kind of concessions, and I'm going to keep hitting at you until it's time for me to go in the voting booth. And if you don't have my concessions done by the time I go in the voting booth, it's up to me to make the decision. You can't assume. I may vote for you anyway. 9 times out of 10, I'm not. Why? Because you wasn't willing to pay the price for my vote. You wasn't willing to earn it. You thought you should just get it for free because you're a Democrat. You should get it free because you're a Republican and I'm black. And blacks always vote this way. And black always, no, well, that's the problem with us. We need to kind of change our mindset when it comes to voting. You can continue to vote that way, but you got to apply leverage to the person who's asking for that vote in that party. You don't just give it to them. I mean, like I said, you can give it to them, but you're giving up your leverage and you wonder why they don't do anything for us. Let me keep going. I'm sorry. I'll keep talking.
Say the same thing to the Biden campaign. They're welcome to do it. Some great ideas. I haven't seen too many people disputing the contract with Black America. Everybody understand that it's needed and it's necessary. So I don't mind anybody in the public sector or in the private sector using parts of it, asking me about it, asking for me to understand, what am I talking about when it comes to trying to not count us as minorities, but to count us as, pretty much a protected race.
Bang. Bingo. Ice Cube said, look, y'all ain't gonna put me in a position where I have to work with just one party. That's not leverage. I have to work with you. I ain't gotta work with none of y'all. I didn't come up with the contract of America to try to push somebody a party. I came up with the contract for Americas because I want these politicians running for office to do more for my people. And if you want our support, you got to do this for us first. You got to make a commitment to do it first before we give you the vote. And believe me, after that, and we get you in office, believe me, we're coming for your throat if you don't. He said anybody can use it. Anybody. You can take whatever your parts you want. Long as it brings empowerment to my people and you want to use it, use it. The end result is I expect not fame for me, a bunch of accolades for me. I don't expect that. I expect my people to be empowered by using these in your platform.
And so I think we're being buried under a lot of words like minority and people of color and things like that. Now, their plan is still there.
Now, I'm going to stop there for a second. I know you say, Rob, you keep stopping. You know that's what I do. See, this is what I've been trying to say all of along. Black people who came in here to this country through chattel slavery, antebellum slavery, not through immigration, not because we want to come to America because America's great and it's a melting pot and the American dream. No, we didn't come up with it. For those people who came in the other way, if you hear my voice right now, I'm here to let you know you are not a minority. So when the politicians come up and say, I got a plan for you minority, you better get me out of there. I'm not a minority. I've been here since the foundation of this country. Pretty much day one. Not too long ago after that, but I've been here since the foundation of this country. There was black people around the building when they signed the Declaration of Independence. It was black people fighting in the war for independence. I've been here since day one. As soon as I fight in the war to help y'all win, y'all put me back on the plantation to get free labor so y'all can get rich off our labor. You are not a minority. You're a majority. You're just as majority as any white person in this country. The only difference is they found the way to stop you from producing. They had to. Eugenics was one way. Them sterilizing men when they joined the military with inoculations when they went out to war, that did it. The different experiments in different hospitals and different schools like Tuskegee Institute. Also, we can't multiply because they fear that we were going to become the true majority, outnumbering them and thinking that we were going to do like a lot of other countries did, overturn their oppressor and took over the country like Haiti, Jamaica, you name it. And it probably would have happened. I'm not going to deny that. But you're not a majority. You're not a minority. You're not a majority. You're no more people of color than white people. White is a color. White came from black. Black didn't come from white. So if anybody that should not have the label of people of color, it should be black people because all colors come out of black. including white. Let me keep going.
Their plan. It's not my plan. Their plan, like all of them, don't go far enough. All of them can be better, but these are just the facts of what happened. This is the Biden campaign basically said, you know, we love 85% of your plan, but we want to talk after the election. That's fine. I'm willing to talk after the election.
We love 85% of your plan, but we'll talk after the election. That's the same copy. I can't even say it. Same bullcrap they do every election. Well, we're not the ones in power, so we can't do nothing about it. You can endorse it. You can support it. That's something. Of course, I know you can't do nothing until you get in office. That's the whole point of me telling you you're going to support this or you're not getting in office. We'll wait till after the election. Man, ain't nobody. That's saying, look, just get me in. You know, Obama said that. He said, look here. Look, black people. Look here. You know, I didn't do anything for you the first 4 years. I did pass the Lilly Ledbetter Act. That was my first act on day one. You got the first black president, half black, half white, whatever you want to call it, if you want to be official. Instead of rewarding the black people who got him over. I mean, that thing was almost 100%, baby. Ain't that many black people that did not vote for Obama in 2008. We went out there, boy. We went out there. We rent buses. We probably stole vans, whatever. We put people on our back. You know, we got grandma in the wheelchair, the electric wheelchair. We rolled on the back of the electric wheelchair to get her to the polling booth. We went out for Obama. And the first thing he going to do is pass the Lilly Ledbetter Act, an act for equal pay for women. Nothing wrong with that. But, bruh, they didn't go out in high numbers like we did. No. The first thing you should have did was implement some black policies, whether they like it or not. And you got the House and the Senate right behind you. You got the majority. There's no reason why you couldn't have passed some black legislation the first 4 years. You can't blame it on the Republicans because you had the House and the Senate and the White House 2 years, and you could have had it for 4 years if you would have went out there and campaigned for those people on the success of the legislation that you pushed the first 2 years, especially if they would have supported you. I got you. Get me in one more term. I got a lot of work to do. Me and Joe. We got a lot of work to do, and 4 more years. I got you. Man, that never came.
I just think both sides of the aisle need to take this serious.
So, what's in their plan that they actually took from yours? Because I've gone through their plan line by line. And be perfectly honest with you, I don't see what's in the plan they released. It even mirrors what's in yours.
Now, he's gone over their plan. Oh, boy, you hear this guy? Give me a second. So he's going over the plan, right? I don't see anything that mirror yours. Go over the plan, Ice Cube, because I've seen your plan, I've seen their plan. I don't see nothing that looks close to yours. That's the whole point of him taking a look at the plan. Now look at this look on his face. And what he's trying to do is undermine Ice Cube and let him try to have him thinking that he don't know what he's doing. You don't know what you're doing messing with the Trump campaign. You don't know. You need to come over here and just wait till Biden get in office, then go talk to him for him to tell you no. Leverage, brother. Leverage. You got to strike now. Biden can easily say, not only are we going to do one of these things in Ice Cube's plan, we're going to do at least 3, 5, maybe all of them. And that's that. But no, he want to wait till after the election.
Trying to not count us as minorities, but to count us as pretty much a protected race. And so I think we're being buried under a lot of words like minority and people of color and things like that. Now, their plan is still their plan. It's not my plan. Their plan, like all of them, don't go far enough. All of them can be better, but these are just the facts of what happened. This is the Biden campaign basically said, we love 85% of your plan, but we want to talk after the election. That's fine. I'm willing to talk after the election. I just think both sides of the aisle need to take this serious.
Now, I stopped there for a second because I want to understand that is the Democratic playbook. Now, during the 26 campaign, Gucci for 2.0, a hacker who denied he was working for the Kremlin because they tried to say Russia did it. Gucci for 2.0, who they've investigated and found out that that information came from D.C., close to DNC. A lot of people believe, and it's a conspiracy, but a lot of people believe it was DNC staff member that leaked that information under the name of Guccifer 2.0. I want you to read this. It says, don't offer support for the concrete policy position of Black Lives Matter protesters. The chief organizers charged with electing Democrats to the House of Representatives warned its candidate in the internal memo leaked online Wednesday. So in the Guccifer WikiLeaks memo, they were instructed that they're going to have to deal with Black Lives Matter, placate to them. I mean, act like you're on their side, but don't offer support for concrete policy positions. So Black Lives Matter have a policies that they want to see enforced. This was the old school Black Lives Matter, not the Black Lives Matter today. They co-opted now. Kind of like what Ice Cube is doing. So what Joe Biden and the Democratic Party is doing to Ice Cube is what Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party did to Black Lives Matter in 2016. The instructions from the DNC headquarters was don't offer support for the concrete policy positions of Black Lives Matter. In other words, don't promise anything, especially before the election. And I remember Hillary Clinton was telling them, well, I got to get in office for me to even consider this stuff. In other words, that's code word is, I need your vote. Get me in office. I need you to vote. Then I'll do that for you. Now, we know how that goes. They always say that. Every election, they always say that. And when they get in office, 2 years, 4 years, 8 years, none done concrete for black people. President Kennedy has struggled to respond to the tactics of Black Lives Matter movement. See, Black Lives Matter was aggressive. They would show up at the high dollar fundraising events that Hillary Clinton had. The young black girl came and they pretty much kicked her out of the place. Hillary didn't stop the guy from kicking her out or sat there and answered her question. None of that. Going back what they said in this article, do not offer support for concrete policy position of Black Lives Matter. Now here we got Ice Cube with the Contract of America, and what does Joe Biden do? The same thing Hillary Clinton. Talk to me after the election. This looks good, but talk to me after you and the rest of you black people get me in the White House. When are you gonna learn? No, bro, you gonna talk to me now. You ain't getting in the White House. Believe me, folks, if you put them in that hot seat position, they will cave in because they need your vote. Both sides need your vote. Somebody's going to cave in because they need that black vote to win. They know without the black vote, if they depend totally on Latino votes and Asian votes or pretty much white American votes, it's going to be too close to call. They can't take that risk. We as black people always get the Democratic Party over the hump. But when they fear that we're not going to get them over the hump, believe me, they will bend the knee to your support. By any means necessary, they're going to go for that black vote. But right now, we're so loyal, so dedicated, and we've been voting for them without asking for anything that they just consider us like a little pet. Yeah, I got the black vote in the bag. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Bruh. Roland Martin goes there and tell Hillary Clinton, well, you know how to do the wobble? If you don't know how to wobble, you ain't going to get the black vote. What? Are you freaking kidding me? You going to reduce the black vote to a freaking wobble? Man, if you don't wobble your weeble wobble looking head out of somewhere, man, no, we're more valuable than that. You keep going. We're almost done.
So what's in their plan that they actually took from yours? Because I've gone through their plan line by line. And be perfectly honest with you, I don't see what's in their plan they released. It even mirrors what's in yours.
Now, that's an undermining question right now. What did... All right, Ice Cube, what plan did they implement? Because I looked at it, don't look like they did none of yours. None of your plan. Well, are you going to mention that Joe Biden didn't commit to none of his... Joe Biden... Look, let me tell you something. If they implement one plan, it's still better than what Joe Biden has decided to do, because he's not trying to do nothing until we get him in the office. Trump's saying, look, the Trump team, not Trump. The Trump team said, look, we'll do one of these policies if we can get a few black votes. That's the name of the game. You get these votes by any means necessary. And you got to be willing to come off your high horse. You got to be willing to bend the knee. You got to be willing to make some adjustments. You got to be willing to negotiate. You got to be willing to give to get. And the Democratic Party don't want to do that. The Republican Party is crap. They suck. But at least they're willing to do that just to try to get a victory. The Democratic Party is saying they ain't doing that, and you better give me the victory. What? You better give me a victory or you're going to deal with this madman. No, you're going to deal with this madman too. So if you want this madman gone, you better honor some of my policies. You better honor some of my demands. Because you want them out just as much as I do. At least you claim you do. Obviously, you don't want them out because you're not bending the knee to our policies. You got to understand. Remember, we are the one that caused you to win. Without us, you're nothing. Well, what are you going to do? You're not going to support us? You're not going to give us the win? You're just going to let the Republicans take over? You know how horrible they are towards you? Well, you may be nice to us, but you ain't doing nothing for us, and we the one keep giving you the win. Either way, nothing's getting done for us.
Well, like I said, both plans between both parties are lacking. So, this is what they did. You have to look at the contract with Black America and see where the overlap is. But the thing that what I try to make them understand is, they have programs, and both parties have programs that are built for minorities and people of color and diversity and urban and these words that don't include us, because they include us, but we only get a small portion most of the time of these programs. So we have to train all politicians.
And Ice Cube is exactly right. You look at Joe Biden's Lift Every Voice, Black America, Plan for Black of America. I keep saying Black of America. You look at Donald Trump Platinum Plan, and that plan is taking care of Plan for Black America. First of all, the title is an insult, because I guess he assumed, since he had these relationships with these rappers, that all black people like platinum. We don't give a crap about no platinum. You can name it the Platinum Plan. Who do you think we are, man? So you look at that plan. It start off Black America. But once you get into the dirty details, it's a plan for minorities. We're not minorities. Don't include us with minorities. Don't you be lumping up minorities with our plan. We want a black exclusive plan, Trump. Then you go to Joe Biden. Lift every voice plan for black America. All right, everything up front, it's a thicker plan than Trump's, but everything up front say black, 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 African American, African American. First of all, there's a difference between Native blacks and African Americans. Let's get that straight. Every black in this country are considered African American, especially if they got a visa. Even the Africans who come from this country, come from Africa into this country, is considered African American. So let's make this strictly clear. All right? You look in the details in that plan when he says Black America or African American. You go deeper into that plan, like Ice Cube said, is most of the things that they're asking for ends up with minorities, which mean gay white men, because now they're considered minority status. You got white women. White women are considered a minority status. I don't know how. I don't know why, but they are. Everybody considered minorities, and when it comes to us having our needs met, we got to share it with everybody. No. When you do policies for the Asians, black people don't get to participate in it, and you might have somebody that's half black and half Asian, and they don't even get to participate in that. That's Kamala Harris, half black, half Asian. So they say. No, you don't get to do that. You want a black American plan? We need a black exclusive plan. And now what Ice Cube is talking about, not just a black exclusive plan, but an exclusive plan to target those who are being devastated by the wealth gap, and that is those who've been here since chattel slavery. We never got a chance to come up on our wealth like the whites, and the gap keep getting greater and greater and greater. Why? Because they profit off our labor, and we never got nothing for it. And when we were free, we didn't have much, but we made what we had work, and we built on that, and God ended up blessing us with that, where we built great communities and prospered, and jealousy came in, and you destroyed that. So how are we able to leave an inheritance for our children, like whites done? Most of the whites, if you don't, my white friends and family, if you don't have an inheritance from your family, something happened from the time, especially if they're linked here from the foundation. If your heritage linked to the settlers, pilgrims and all that, if your lineage links to them, you have to do a study and find out why you may not have the property, the houses and things like that. Barack Obama got so much property and money from his white side than his black side. His black side, grandmother and not that wealthy in Kenya. But his white side, prominent, granddaddy, great granddaddy, prominent. Land, houses, prominent. And your family probably was the same way if they were sellers. They made a lot of money. They got wealthy. If they don't have that wealth and they didn't pass it on to you, then something happened in between that time. Maybe substance abuse, drinking, I don't know. But a lot of people give up their inheritance doing silly stuff. But most of you, if you're tied to the foundational whites here in this country, you had wealth. Now, was that wealth squandered or was that wealth left to you? We don't have that. We don't have that legacy.
We are black people, black Americans. Most of and I'm specifically talking about the descendants of slavery, and we have to be dealt with, our concerns have to be rectified as that, and
right,
not as a blanket thing with all other minorities. That puts us under 100% of the population here. And
But
I don't know if we can ever get up out of that.
but when your contract it lists.
Whenever Roland start, that means he's trying to undermine. He's right. Everybody else has the ability to come up over us, and it's not their fault. They didn't do nothing wrong to us. They just came here seeking the American dream, but the policies favor them more so in a whole lot of areas than it does with us when it comes to education, when it comes to housing, things like that. You can find somewhere in some state and some law that's going to give the immigrant the edge over the native black. And so you got to understand about the native black that's been here since the foundation. We're not considered immigrants or citizens. Not legislatively. We are citizens. We are U.S. citizens because of slave papers, but we don't have the status because, the true natives are the Native Americans, the indigenous people. Some of them are black. Some of them were put into slavery. Not a whole lot. And then you got us, and then you got white settlers. The slaves. That's all it was. Native Americans, white settlers, and black slaves since the foundation. Native Americans got their reparation. White people don't have no need for reparation, but if there was a chance for them to get it, they would get it. But black people can't fight for theirs. We're being selfish. We're thinking about ourselves. We're causing this issue is divisive. Really? Get out of here.
These 13 different points here. And again, in their plan, what do you see in the platinum plan they released that mentions that mirrors anything that's in yours?
See, there you go, trying to undermine it. Bruh, this thing is a work. They don't have to do nothing right now. They might do it this week. They may do it next week. My question is, what do you see in Biden's plan that mimics his? You want to make this a one-sided.
You got, if I'm looking at it, agreeing to direct VC money to black investment companies up to $40 billion.
See, a lot of people have been talking about this $500 billion.
Stop changing the subject. You asked him a question and he told you one thing that it does. Now you want to get on one thing that it claims it does but not going to do. You asked him the question, he gave you the answer, Roland. Let's go back. Stop trying to undermine this brother.
Rectify as that and
right.
Not as a blanket thing with all other minorities. That puts us under 100% of the population here. And I don't know if we can ever get up out of that.
But when your contract, it lists these 13 different points here. And again, in their plan, what do you see in the platinum plan they released that mentions that mirrors anything that's in yours?
You got, if I'm looking at it, agreeing to direct VC money.
See that? He just told you one thing.
To black investment companies up to $40 billion.
Up to $40 billion. Now you asked him what did he do what's in his plan that mimic yours. He mentioned one. Now let's talk about this, Roland.
See, a lot of people have been talking about this $500 billion. That's not going.
See, he wasn't talking about that. You're coming up with that, and you don't know nothing about that, and you don't know what it's going to go to. He just told you where about this money that's going to $40 billion that Trump wanted to direct to starting businesses. Not saying that he's really going to do it, but he just talked about this money, and you're going to take him off the thing that he see that fits his plan and onto something don't look like it fits his plan. See, he's trying to undermine Q, and Q ain't going to let him.
On the black people. In fact, that's just actually the infrastructure funding program. That's not actually $500 billion going to black people.
Well, he didn't mention anything about the 500 billion, Roland. You mentioned that. He mentioned something else.
And then when they say,
well, how many billion is the other one given to black people?
No. That
Great question, Roland Martin. How many billions is Biden offering black people? I told you every time he starts saying no, he's being called out and he don't know which way to go.
That's not, what I'm saying is, that's not even, they list this thing under black economic empowerment and access to capital.
He asked you a question, Roland. How much money is the other side giving?
It says seek infrastructure. See, a lot of people have been talking about this 500 billion. That's not going to black people. In fact, that's just actually the infrastructure funding program. That's not actually 500 billion going to black people. And then when they say,
well, how many billion is the other one given to black people?
No. That's not, what I'm saying is, that's not even, they list this thing under black economic empowerment and access to capital. It says seek infrastructure funding that will lead to widespread growth in the annual $500 billion federal contracting opportunities. Even that line right there is not for black people. That's federal contracting opportunities for everybody. So that's not, so they're trying to make it sound like, oh, 500 billion to black people. It's not. That
same thing with Biden plan, bruh. Answer the question, Roland.
That's the actual annual program overall for everybody.
Yeah, I understand what you see in that, but it's really up to us to try to direct that money to black people.
Right. But there's a difference.
If we're not in contact or not talking to a certain administration, because we're on another team and they win, then what do we do? Just sit back and wait?
Oh, no. I agree with you 100% on that, because
all of them got flaws in their plan. All of them got holes in their plan. Like I said, they put out this stuff, not me.
Right. I'm just trying to find
and told them what I think. And so from there, they ran with it and did what they wanted to do with it. That's not really my concern. My concern more is making sure that both of these candidates understand that this money has to be directed to black people. It's a lot of language in both plans that are iffy, tricky, and, are there really to make sure we don't get the money.
Facts. Now, again, you look at both plans. You look at the Biden Lift Every Voice Black for Black America plan and the Trump Platinum plan for black people. Both of those plans appear to be for black people. It appears to look like it's going to empower black people. But when you look into the details, there are plans for colored people, which means everybody, because everybody is a color. It's not exclusive for black. And Ice Cube plan is saying, look, I'm trying to build something exclusively for black people, and I'm going to pressure these presidents. I don't care whether you like them or not. I don't care if they hate us or not, or anything. That's not the point. Leverage is a mofo. And if you got leverage over these people, they will bend the knee to your will. And we as black people got to get leverage over these parties instead of letting these parties leverage us. The Democratic Party has been leveraging us and putting us in fear. The Republican Party has been helping them with that, with this good cop, bad cops crap. And for 10, 20, 30 years, nothing's been done because of this crap.
So it's really up to people to engage and make sure that money go where it's supposed to go. But, I agree. We've been lied to for a long time, for 400 years or more. And so, one thing I know is we have to do something different. And, one thing is never being too one-sided, hard-headed, proud to speak to whoever's in power. Every great man in the world has spoke to somebody in power at some point in time, whether they agree with him or not. So for me, I told everybody what I was going to do, and I did it. And, they exploited it. But if I would have, did something for Biden, they would have exploited it too. So that's just part of the game.
Facts.
The thing is this. The thing is to get movement. The thing is to make sure that we move the needle, no matter who's elected.
I agree.
Our program has to be pushed through. So non-dialogue to me is not how.
No. Here's the deal.
How you do it.
Here's the deal, Cube. I'm not against dialogue. I sat in 2 meetings with Trump and with other television anchors as well. I've been challenging them. Well, I want you to come talk to black media. I know of other African Americans who've been meeting with them on PPP, on other issues as well. The thing for me is this.
Now, hold on a second. Now, did he say he met with Trump? I mean, because he definitely met with Barack Obama. He ain't do nothing. Let me show you something. See if I got these images up. Give me a moment. I want to show you something. Let me put this up here real quick. I want to show you something. Give me a moment. Roland Martin oftentimes meets with people of power. Now, he claims he is for black people, but to me, he's for himself than black people. I never really seen Roland Martin advocate for black needs. It seemed like he advocate more for partyism than black need. Here's a picture of Roland Martin with President Barack Obama. Let me see. I probably got another one up here. I should have another one up here. All right, here's another picture of Roland Martin with President Barack Obama. Roland Martin has been in the seat of power. He has sat across from the president. My question is, during all that time, Roland Martin, have you talked about the systemic needs of black people in front of President Obama, or was you gawking? Were you starstruck because you finally got that one-on-one interview with President Barack Obama? And when you got that one-on-one interview, did you ask him the hard questions, or you did try to do good enough where he can suggest to other people to work with you? I beg to believe it's that part. See, Roland Martin wants to sit in the high power of multimedia. He don't want to sit with the grassroots of black empowerment. He walks under the disguise of black empowerment, and he says his media, so-called media empire, is another YouTube channel like mine. He just got more people on it. Don't cost him a dime to run this show. He get more money from the show than he do doing the show, which is good. It's okay. But are you using your platform to empower black people, or are you using your platform to empower your media company? Did you ask Barack Obama about the wealth gap, and what do he suggest to close it? Did you tell Barack Obama he should push for more legislation to deal with our criminal justice system that his vice president created, and it's a horror show for black people? Did you do that, Roland? No, you didn't do that. Let me go back.
Here, I judge folks on what you do. And what I look at is Donald Trump goes to Atlanta, makes this big old announcement about his platinum plan, and I'm sitting there going, so for instance, I'll pull it up. when I see this plan, and then I see in here where he goes, make Juneteenth a national holiday. Well, first of all, that could have happened in July, but Senator Rob Johnson of Wisconsin still have been blocked in the Senate. Donald Trump said nothing, tweeted nothing, did nothing. He said in here also about the anti-lynching bill. Same thing. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky stood up, blocked it in the Senate. Donald Trump said nothing, did nothing. He in here talks about prosecute the KKK and Antifa. Hell, when they had the debate with Joe Biden, he tried to shut Joe Biden down when he was quoting Christopher Wray, the FBI director, who said the greatest threat of terrorism in America is white domestic terrorism. But
Roland, what that has to do with his black plan? We all know, even Trump know, that these things need to be done. You're upset because he didn't mention anything about it. He should. He should blast it. He should be presidential and deal with these situations to unify the company. But you're talking about Donald Trump, man. Donald Trump. Donald Trump right now need a win. Coronavirus has kicked his behind. It's bad enough a president's supposed to keep this stuff from getting to the country, but when the president couldn't even keep it from getting to his household, that is a killer of an election. But you can't assume that he's not going to win. So I'm with Ice Cube. You naming all these things that has nothing to do with his black plan of America. I mean, his plan for black America. All this stuff got nothing to do with it. He's talking about what he has in his plan. And if one of these two parties want to pick it up, they need to pick it up. And they should pick it up or they shouldn't get any vote, despite who's in office. That's the leverage. And that's the language that we as a people should be talking. I mean, let's face this. You probably got in your mind that you're going to settle for Joe Biden, but you ain't got to tell Joe Biden that. You as a black person shouldn't tell nobody. You got to enforce your position. You got to show your leverage to all these politicians. Yeah, I think about voting for you. I mean, so far I haven't seen anything that you're going to do for us. Here's a couple of things I think you should do for us. If you can do this, you can get my vote. That's the game of the game. You got to earn my vote. I'm not giving it to you. But, you know, Roland Martin is a slut voter. Look at that shirt. Vote like your ancestors. My ancestors didn't vote to put a Democratic or a Republican in office. My ancestors died and fought for us to vote for black empowerment, for black people to be empowered. And you'll be a fool to think parties empower black people. No, they don't. Now, do the Democratic Party run black people for office? Yeah, after that black person has ran themselves against the DNC in the primaries. The DCCC are not known for supporting black candidates. The DCCC are not known for supporting black women candidates, and the proof is in the pudding. Usually that candidate got to run on his own, and until they shock their choice and their pick to run for that particular seat, then they come and rally behind a black person. Case in point, Ayanna Pressley. Case in point, Andrew Gilliam. Case in point, Stacey Abrams. When none of them trying to push them to their seats. But now they won, they all of a sudden would call them darlings of the party. Get out of here.
The thing is, when I was sitting here, and again, I looked in May. No, hold on one second. But here's my point. In May, when the Biden this is what it's called, the Lift Every Voice, the Biden Plan for Black America, I went through the entire plan and broke it down. Then I went through the Trump Platinum Plan and broke it all down. The issue for me is that when it comes to Trump's plan, there's no specificity. There just simply isn't. Even when you talk about programs,
now, you know, I'm going to stop here. My Twitch people, I'm surprised you're still up with me. Both plans. Now, y'all know I went through this plan myself. I went through Biden's plan, and there are a lot of specifics for Biden. But again, the bottom line is it is not a plan for black America. That's the front. It's like you having a laundromat and you running drugs. Of course, you got and you having a laundromat and a car wash, you know, but you're a big time drug dealer. So you got to have some kind of business to launder the money. That's what Joe Biden's doing. He using a black face to get things done for minorities. colors, people of color. In other words, he's using that as a front, and he got specific. I mean, Roland's right. They're specific, but they're specifically for people that's not black. It includes black, but it gives money to so many other people, gays, Latinos. Go look at the plan. It's on Joe's website. Take your time. I did 3 videos on this. We went through the plan in detail. I also went through Trump's plan. Roland is right. There's no detail on the plan on the front page, but they do have a detailed plan at the White House website. Both of them suck. Both of them are black policies with a black face, but when you take the mask off, it's a policy for everybody, including black. Well, what's wrong with that? The problem is when you include everybody, you take too much away from most of the things that the black community needs because you're sharing. And in these situations, we can't share some things. The wealth gap is closing. Another 5 to 10 years, Native blacks will be 5 cents to $1 to whites. And unfortunately, it's actually 10 cents to whites having $100. For every $100 that a white person got, black natives, those who've been here since slavery, have 10 cents to that $100. That's a shame. And if we don't do something about that now aggressively, we're going to have nothing. Everybody going to come to this country with more wealth than we got. And it's not about us begging. I'm not begging for anything. You owe. Like I said before, when you're in a car accident and some big trucking company that you know run over your family member, you better sue that trucking company. You better not do that family member no injustice by letting it go. Justice is you go after that company. This is no different. You raped and pillaged my people. You done some horrible things to my people. You fed our babies to alligators. You raped our daughters to have more children. You even raped our boys, called buck breaking. Our grandfathers get to an age where they can't do what they want to do. You'll shoot them and throw them in the ditch. You name it. And you shouldn't pay for that. And then we got these bootlicks like Roland Martin trying to cape, trying to protect this effort to get what we need. All to kiss up to a party. This ain't got nothing to do with the party. This is about saving Native blacks. And he wants to keep this about Trump versus Biden. This ain't got nothing to do with that.
I will say when I go through Biden's program, when he's talking about state small business credit initiative, expand new markets tax credit, improve and expand the SBA programs that most effectively support black-owned businesses, and laying things out that are specifics, that's the deal. I'm looking at a 22-page plan from Biden and a 1-page plan for Trump, and I'm sitting there going, and I went through Trump's plan, I'm like, there's nothing there.
He's worrying about how many pages instead of the contents. Biden can have 100 pages and Trump can have 1. The bottom line of both of them is these policies that you're trying to implement as a black policy is catering toward everybody but black. I don't care about other people when it comes to saving the Native blacks. I don't care about that right now. Because this ain't their fight. This is our fight. Love them, appreciate them. They my brothers and sisters in humanity. They can join us in this fight, but if they don't, then they got to move out the way. Don't get in the way. Like Dr. King said, we're coming for our check. And he want to make this about how many pages one person had than the other one.
It's a lot of words. Not really, because it's only one page. But the deal is, I'm like, dude, you being the president, you want to make this whole
Trump crappy policy actually is more than one page, but you know.
deal how you ushered in economic prosperity, which really all started under Obama beginning in 2010, but it is lacking. Do you believe that the Trump campaign greatly overstated your involvement for the purpose of them being able to say, we have attached ourselves to Ice Cube? Did you believe that you were used politically for their purposes as opposed to really what happened?
Look, I knew whoever I engaged with would use that politically. I don't care about that part. The part I care about is getting something done. Look, my plan is called the Contract with Black America. So all of them lacking when it comes to that. So that's what I'm pushing. So anybody who's going to implement those plans into their plan, then I'm going to take a look at it. But both plans are lacking, and that's why we become educated voters for real, and then you pick who you want to pick. But at the end of the day, for us not to engage with both sides of the aisle to fix this, which I think is an American problem, that to me ain't going to help us in the end. What's going to help us is once we, realize how much power we have. Now, you said that, of course, Trump didn't stop all these things or didn't mention these things. Okay, maybe it was before he knew he needed the black vote as much as he do. You never know. This is what deals are made of. So I don't know what they're going to do.
No. That's actually that's not the case. Hold on.
Again, when Roland starts stuttering, he's about to undermine Ice Cube. Ice Cube is right. I know, Roland, you want us to put this on pause and wait till Biden get elected. You want us to keep falling for that trick bag of, well, look here, you get me in office, you won't. You have to hit them now. You got to get commitments now. So when they do get in office, you can pull up their commitments. That's what a contract is about. You violated the contract. So therefore, we're going to hit you hard in the next 2 years. Or we're going to hit you hard on social media. We're going to bruise you as the liar that you are. The point is I need to get a commitment now.
I can tell you personally. No, hold up. You said before you need a black vote. I just want to just correct something, Ice Cube. I'm going to let you finish. I just want to correct something. I met with the White House in 2018. They told me directly in 2018, we think we can get 20% black male support in the 2020.
Now, before we go into this part, okay, Trump team is ambitious. They believe they can get 20% of the male vote. I doubt that, but he's entitled to be ambitious. He's entitled to believe that he can come up with something, some kind of way to pull black votes from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party, to him. That's called politics. Right now, the Democrats are trying to find some way to pull Republican voters from Donald Trump. Heck, they are stabbing progressives who are the ones that can really help them win, right along with black people. Black people, number one. But progressives outside the party determines whether you win too. The reason Trump won is because you undermined those progressives, and a lot of those progressives who are not part of a party, they're independents, most of them. Some of them are non-voters, voting for the first time. You undermined their demands. They told you they wanted $15 minimum wage, they wanted no-cost health care, they wanted no-cost education, and you undermined that. And you still thought they're going to vote for you, and that's how you think you're going to do with black people. And you can't trust that. You can't believe and assume that these people are going to vote for you. You got to get their vote by any means necessary. Make some concessions. Well, you didn't do that in 2016, and a lot of those guys went with Trump. Now, the name of the game in politics is to cipher votes off your opponents. So how come the Democrats think they can cipher Republican votes off Trump? Because they believe most Republicans are not like John Kasich and all these people. I mean, they're spending so much money trying to get the Republican vote instead of trying to do what they need to do to lock in the progressives outside the party, or doing what they need to do to make sure black people stay in their camp. They assume that no black people in no amount of numbers is going to lead them. You are not loving. Yeah, I beat on you, woman. Yeah, I kick you in the ribs. You ain't going nowhere because I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. Yeah, I ignore you. Yeah, I don't do nothing for you. Yeah, I'm your husband. I'm your man. I don't do much for you, but you ain't going nowhere. What do you... If you stay in a relationship like that, you're a fool. And it's not about going to another person. It's about being free of yourself and finding value in yourself. If you're going to stay in a relationship like that and not find your value and come out of that relationship, you are a fool. And it's no different from here. And Roland Martin wants to get mad because Donald Trump, the nerves of Donald Trump trying to figure out how to cipher black men vote. Now, before I go into it any further, this is what Democrats are trying to do right now with black men. They're trying to pit black men against black women. They're trying to pit the ADOS movement, the black American descendants of slave movement against immigrants. And we're not against immigrants. Heck, we fought for immigrants to come to this country. We love immigrants. Immigrants are one of our strategies to make this place a melting pot. We wanted this place to be the melting pot. White America did not want this to be a melting pot. We wanted to be a melting pot. So we worked with Johnson to get that immigration policy passed so they could take the restrictions off so other people from all over the world, including the West Indies, including Africa, to come to the United States and go for the American dream that we built for them. But for Roland Martin to try to pit us, the ADOS movement, against immigrants, shame on you. And what he's trying to do is what Don Lemon did, trying to say it's no African American women are for Trump. Bro, you can't say that. It's a lot of women, black women I know, that like Trump. A lot of them are conservative Christians, and the reason they support Trump is because they are strict Christians. They don't believe in abortion or none of that stuff. And they don't believe in gay marriage. They don't believe in none of that stuff. So they will support Trump. So you can't say that, but here Roland Martin getting ready to pit black men against black women, saying black men are going for Trump, black women ain't going for it. No, bro, you can't say that. The name of the game is I'm trying to get as much black as I can. I don't care what color they are. I mean, what race or what sex they are.
So they were fully aware of that.
Why'd you meet with him? Why'd you meet with him?
I'm a journalist.
Why'd you meet with him?
Now, he's getting ready to get in Roland's grill. Because Roland said, look, I met with the Trump campaign. So why are you asking me all these questions? You met him. What did you meet him for? I'm a journalist. And that's your job, but you're a black person. Did you talk to him about black issues?
Realize how much power we have. Now, you said that, of course, Trump didn't stop all these things or didn't mention these things. Okay, maybe it was before he knew he needed the black vote as much as he do. You never know. This is what deals are made of. So I don't know what they're going to do.
No. That's actually that's not the case. Hold on. I can tell you personally. No. Hold up. You said before you knew the black vote. I just want to just correct something, Ice Cube. I'm going to let you finish. Yeah. I just want to correct something. I met with the White House in 2018. They told me directly in 2018, we think we can get 20% black male support in the 2020. So they were fully aware of that.
Why'd you meet with him? Why'd you meet with him?
I'm a journalist.
Why'd you meet with him?
I'm a journalist.
What'd you meet with him to talk about?
I'm a journalist.
He can't explain why he met with him. His excuses as a journalist. Bruh, at the end of the day, you're a black man. Why did you meet him?
With them to talk about public policy issues, to ask them those various questions.
Public policy issues, and
right.
The thing was to get 20% of the vote.
No, right.
Okay.
They said no, not 20% of the vote.
Did they think they was going to get that for free?
Right. This is what they said. They said they believe they could get 20% of the black male vote, and they specifically said they were going to use criminal justice reform and economic policies.
Why did they think they can get 20% of the black male vote? Why do they think that?
Because they said they think that they can appeal to disaffected black men. They point blank, they know black women don't like them.
See, now Roland just assuming. It's a lot of black women don't like the Trump administration. I don't mean black women in general don't like Trump. Now the question is, why do Trump believe that he can get 20% of the black vote, and you won't answer the question, bruh? There's a reason why Trump believes he can get 20% of the black vote. Answer the question. Now, I don't think he can get it, but answer the question and stop throwing this off on black women between black men.
Can they appeal to that demographic? Who's not appealing to that demographic?
Right.
How can they swoop in and get it?
Who?
That should have been covered.
What do you mean?
See, Roland act like he's clueless now. Ice Cube done called him out. All right, bro, stop all this stuff. All right, you met with the Trump administration. What did you talk to him about? I'm a journalist. Yeah, but what did you talk to him about? Well, I talked to him about public policy issues. And yeah, but you black, bruh. You could have talked to him about black issues. You was in the same, you actually talked to the Trump administration. I didn't. They just picked up some of my policies. What did you do? I was a journalist. Don't use the journalist, bro. That's your job. I'm a rapper. But I'm still trying to fight for my people, even though I'm a rapper, actor, movie producer. I'm not going in the capacity of my job. You're supposed to be a black journalist. So you're supposed to be reporting to the Trump administration the needs of black people. Not that they're going to jump on it, but you still should be reporting and let them know about it, especially with the black people in that party. There's a lot of black women in that party. There's a lot of black men in that party. I have no clue why. But then again, I say the same thing about those supporting, Biden. But hey, to each his own. I have no dog in this fight. Okay. But the bottom line is, you met them too. Did you advocate for your black people?
This is what I'm asking. How can they swoop in and get something that's supposed to be covered?
Well, first of all, that's not the case because in 2012, between Obama and Romney, that was a 9-point.
Why are you going all the way to 2012?
Gap between black men and black women who voted for Obama and Romney. In 2013, with Trump and Hillary Clinton, that expanded to 13%. Now, when you look at 2020, they believe that, we think there's an opportunity here for us to be able to appeal to black men on economic policies because they say black women can't stand it.
Well, it's not being.
Well, let me stop there. Roland is lying out of his behind. Black women ain't, black women, they did not tell Roland that black women can't stand them. Who would go around saying, look, she can't stand me? Especially when you need that vote. Roland is making this stuff up. Now, look, most black women can't stand the Trump campaign. Most black men cannot stand the campaign. But Ice Cube is asking the right questions. Between Obama and this year, between 2012 and this year, why did Obama continue to keep women voters, black women voters, and lose black men voters? Here's the answer to the question. I'm surprised he kept some of the women voters, but women are so starstruck and in love with the beauty of Obama, they don't even look at the policies that he pushed. They don't look at how he mocked Flint, Michigan, people who still dealing with a water crisis, still dealing with water poison, with that mockery of him drinking water. Insult. People talk about Obama didn't have some scandal. He had scandals, they just didn't promote it. They didn't put it in the news. They didn't drive it because they got to protect Obama. And I get it. But the bottom line is black men caped hard for Obama in 2008, hoping Obama was going to do something for black people because most black men are concerned about their people more than career or anything. Not saying women are not, but that's one of the number one things we care about. What are you going to do for my community? What are you going to do for my people? So when we don't see Obama promise to do it in 2012 and he don't do it, so here come Hillary Clinton. We know she ain't going to do it because at least we have more faith in the black man. We know the white woman who came out with policies that hurt black men ain't gonna do it. So of course, Trump think he can steal some, I wouldn't even say steal. Trump believe he can earn those votes. Now, will he? I doubt it. But he's gonna try to go for it, and that's his right. Because this is election. And nobody on black people, so stop trying to act like they do.
Done for black men in this country that the number is growing.
Because first of all,
because
the difference between black men and black women are more likely to be.
Here's again with that pin between the difference between black men and black women. The difference between black men and black women is black women are smart and you black men are not. That's what it boils down to. No, we just got different concerns. Nothing wrong with that. My concern is I need you to do something for my people, and I'm tired of you. Bad enough, I trusted the black man to do something for my people, and he didn't do it. You think I'm going to trust these next two people that you put up? I definitely don't trust Trump. But let's see who's going to offer us something. Because I need somebody that's going to really do something for us. Well, you know, Trump ain't going to do nothing because he hate black people. Well, I don't trust the person who claimed they love black people, but deep down inside, they got a lot of hate for black people.
Why don't the
wait, hold up. You asked the question. I'm going to answer it. Because this is from focus groups, from polling data. Black men are more appealed by Trump's anti-immigration position.
Here you go with the focus group. Folks, anytime somebody mentions focus group, unfocus from that group. Focus groups, what do they get paid to get information about whatever they're focusing on. If you really want to know what's going on with real people, you got to go down to the grassroots. You got to go down to the neighborhoods. Focus group. Get out of here with that mess.
Then black women. That's one. That's one of the issues there. One of the issues that we also see is that we've seen where black men feel as if the Democrats have appealed more to black women than black men. Thirdly, Donald Trump, by touting...
What men are worried about Democratic Party appealing to black women than black men? They have every right to. Black women vote more than we do. I mean, we're not right behind them, but they should appeal to black women because black women are the one keep putting them over. Now, we're right behind black women. We used to lead in the forefront, but we getting tired of these people using us. So usually the leader or the lead in is going to see what's going on ahead. We're supposed to be the visionary, the protectors of our black queens and our children. So we may see things that the black women don't see when it comes to vision. And the women may see some things that we may not see. Right now, we see these parties are not doing anything for us. They can, they should. And the only way we're going to, and sad to say, we got to force their hands, but we're going to have to force their hands. And that's the position of most black men and some black women. They believe that too. He's trying to do this thing, black men against black women, black men against black women. I guarantee you the immigration thing going to come up.
The First Step Act saying he got criminal justice reform done and Democrats didn't, which is actually a lie. The mistake that Democrats have made is they haven't taken credit for the First Step Act because if the Democrats don't pass it in the House, it actually don't get done. And so they see an opportunity.
The bottom line is Trump passed it. This is one of the few things I give Trump credit for. The law, it is law. The First Act is law. Who signed it into law? Trump. So stop that, Roland Martin. You know me, I'm going to be truthful. You know the Rob Report is where the truth will make you free. That is the truth. It doesn't matter what happened. What matters is it law and who signed it into law? Trump did.
To be able to target black men who are disaffected by both parties by peeling to their pocketbooks, their 401ks, by using tax policy, and that's what their strategy is.
And the Democrats not doing that? Well, the Democrats should be doing that. Let me put it this way. The Democrats should be doing the same thing, appealing to black people by offering policies that's going to lift up the black community. So don't get mad at Trump because you said it with your own mouth, Roland. They're appealing to blacks through tax propositions and through policy. That's what politicians are supposed to do. That's called earning their votes. How you going to earn their votes? Policies. This is what I'm going to do for the black community. I'm going to, $2,000 UBI a month. No cost education, no cost health care. Then eventually we'll spread that out to everybody else. I mean, I don't care what you come up with, but you got to earn these votes. And the only way you're going to secure these votes is through policies. The same thing you just said Trump was doing, appealing to the needs of black people. That's what every politician's supposed to be doing. Let me go back a little bit. I got to hear that again from this bowling ball here. I mean, Roland Martin.
They see an opportunity to be able to target black men who are disaffected by both parties by peeling to their pocketbooks, their 401ks, by using tax policy, and that's what their strategy is.
And that should be the Democratic Party strategy. That should be everybody running for office strategy. You just gave the #1 advice to anybody running for office. That right there. That should be a soundbite. That should be put into paper that if you want to win an election, this is what you got to do.
Because if the Democrats don't pass it in the House, it actually don't get done. And so they see an opportunity to be able to target black men who are disaffected by both parties by peeling to their pocketbooks, their 401ks, by using tax policy, and that's what their strategy is.
You have to bring out policies if you want to win people over to your side. You cannot assume they're going to vote for you.
So what's the Democrat strategy to target black men?
And that's one of the things that I've been challenging them on as well, by saying when you have a problem, when you see 9 points in 2012 to go to 13 points in 2016, and it might go to 20, you got a problem. So you better focus on that and shore it up, which means you better speak to those issues, speak to those men, having those surrogates doing it, but also speaking to the policies. I've been covering this very issue when it comes to these black men for months.
Now, Ice Cube asked him, what are they doing to get black people on their side? Well, they're not doing nothing, Ice Cube. They assume black people are going to stay on their side. What are they doing to secure the vote? What are they going to do to make sure Trump don't get those people? Because if Trump come up with some policies to cater black people may go that way. Do you want to risk that, Democratic Party? Then you got to come up with something twice as good. Because again, this is a negotiation. Your votes are negotiation. They are bargaining chips. You want my vote? Then we need a deal. He did all that talking and did not say what the Democrat Party is offering that Trump is not offering. Now, don't get me wrong. Trump is not offering nothing, but like he did in 2016, he will say he's going to offer something. Now, will he keep his word? Who knows? Some of the things he did for some of his supporters, a lot of things he couldn't do. Some things he did do. Joe Biden's like, look, I'm not going to promise anything until you put me in office. Bro, you ain't going to ever get nothing by putting somebody in power before you negotiate, after you negotiate. Nah, that's not going to do it. You put them in power and then you want to negotiate? Get out of here. That's not how negotiation is done. Negotiation is a game of leverage.
Now, if Democrats haven't done it, now folks are sort of trying to pay attention now. But I actually was talking to Tom Perez and the DNC about this 4 years ago. So I got to ask you.
Roland Martin got a habit of trying to make himself seem like he's a big deal. He's like Joe Biden saying, I'm the guy. I'm the guy who took the death penalty from 42 cases to 64 cases. I'm the guy who put in the 3-strike laws that if you get 3 criminal infractions, you're going to jail for life. I'm the guy. Roland Martin is doing the same thing. Trump do the same thing. I'm the guy. I'm the guy. These are selfish people, man.
Shit too, because on that particular point there. So I got an email from someone and they said, why is Ice Cube only talking about this contract now? The person wanted me to ask, where is Ice Cube doing the primary? Where is he in 2018? How do you answer people who say that?
I can answer that for him. Ice Cube been talking about this. He been talking about this for at least 4 years. He started this thing right after the Clinton loss. The problem is you guys wasn't covering, and that's why people don't know nothing about this. That's why I exist, because I'll cover it. You guys wouldn't cover it because you're afraid that it's going to turn over your apple cart. Negroes are standing up and making a demand for their vote. We can't have that. You got to vote like your ancestors. We are.
I was actually just, being an artist, rapping, thinking all this stuff was covered, thinking people that actually was in power was out doing their job, making sure they had something specifically for black people to win. And when I looked up, I realized all this stuff is not specifically for black people. It's for minorities. It's for people of color. It's for everybody but us. So, I had to kind of take it upon myself to do something that was strictly for black people and write something up with some very smart, educated people and come up with a plan. It all happened after George Floyd was killed. So that's where I've been. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't have to do it if it was being done.
But actually,
where has this contract been Since the 60s, we've had over 7,000. Hello?
No. You're on. Go ahead. I'm listening. You're on.
Since the 60s, we've had over 7,000 black people elected in office in high positions throughout this country. Over 7,000. And we haven't moved an inch. So don't ask me where have I been. The question is, where the hell are you at?
Well, here's the deal, though. I want.
So Ice Cube ain't gonna take no stuff from these people, man. Don't ask me where I've been. Where the hell y'all? I'm an artist. I'm an actor. I'm doing my job. You got a job, and your job is to hold the fire to the feet of people in power. Where y'all been? It's a shame that I got to come up with something that y'all should have came up with a long time ago. It's a shame that I got to do something because there's nobody, and honestly speaking, he's right. There's nobody that has actually stood on the other side, maybe probably Louis Farrakhan, that said that black people need to stop showing their allegiance to these parties and force these parties to show allegiance to them. It's time that we stop showing allegiance to this party and have these parties show allegiance to them. That's why I followed the policies of Malcolm X. And here I am, a born-again Christian. I follow the policies of Malcolm X that says, look, in order to get your power back, you got to detach yourself from these people. That's why I'm an independent. I vote Democrat. I vote sometimes Republican. I vote sometimes independent. I vote sometimes Green. When it came to Chuck Schumer against, what's the girl from the Green Party? I ain't voting for Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer fast-tracked all Trump judges. He's supposed to be the resistance. He gonna fast-track all the Trump judges. Obama was foolish enough to leave too many judges' seats open. Instead of filling those seats, he left them over to Trump. And guess who helped them fast-track it? Chuck Schumer. So I voted for Robin Levine to take over Chuck Schumer's seat. Robin Levine was of the Green Party. I wanted her, that black sister, to take Chuck Schumer out. Can't trust these Washington, D.C. insiders. They'll lean more on the side of white supremacy than anti-white in a minute. They're hollering, we got to get rid of Trump. He's fast-tracking Trump judges. So Ice Cube is right. Where have you been? Don't ask me where I've been. Where you been? You the one sat with Obama and didn't confront him about that twice. You took a picture with him and you had an interview with him. You even spoke with him plenty of time at different events, and you didn't call him out, Roland? Why you ain't asking on why you haven't done anything for black people yet? Were you afraid? Or were you starstruck?
On that particular point, I want to bring in Alicia Garza, co-founder of Black Voters Matter. She also is with the Black Futures Lab. Q, you may not be aware of this. You may.
Alicia Garza is the young lady that helped spearhead what I call the new Black Lives Matter movement. And when I say new, it's because Black Lives Matter, the movement, and Black Lives Matter, the mantra in the streets are not the same. The movement capitalized off the mantra. They named themselves Black Lives Matter to get some momentum to build their organization. This organization has taken so much money from corporate America. They are too deeply tied into party politics, specifically in the Democratic Party. And, most of the great leaders in civil rights movement and equal rights movement, one of the main things they say that the moment you allow money from corporations to infiltrate your movement, and the moment you allow politicians to get their fingers in your movement, you allow people to strangle our movement to death. You got to always keep it grassroots, and Black Lives Matter haven't. But let's see what she got to say. And I'm almost done, folks.
They put out this massive black census project. They surveyed, if I'm correct, Alicia, some 30,000 African Americans. They put this whole thing together. How long are they taking? When did y'all release this, Alicia?
We released it in 2019.
So Cube, here was this initiative that they put together. And I would love, and again, when we had you on last time and Reese was talking about the lack of stuff when it comes to black women, and you said, hey, you love to hear from her. I would love for the two of you to actually talk about this, because both of you want to really achieve the same thing, and that is achieve things for black people. And so, Alicia, go.
Now, let me stop here. So what Roland is trying to say, well, you ain't the only one got a plan. So what make you think you so special? You think your plan is better than hers? Look at her plan. Maybe y'all need to get together and work y'all plan together. That's what Roland Martin is doing to Ice Cube right now. Again, bringing somebody on his show to undermine Ice Cube.
To actually talk about this, because both of you want to really achieve the same thing, and that is achieve things for black people. And so, Alicia, go right ahead. If you have a question for Ice Cube, you got a.
Now, Black Lives Matter is not just achieving stuff for black people. Again, they have allowed themselves to be co-opted, and now they're trying to fight for support of everybody, including black, which is going back to the original statement of Ice Cube. I want something exclusively for blacks.
Question for Alicia. Go ahead.
Hey, Cube, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. So, I mean, I guess my first question would be, you know, we're in the midst of an incredible movement moment. Folks are all over the country, have been organizing for over 7 years, if not longer, trying to turn Black Lives Matter into a movement that can impact not just protest, but also policy. I did have a chance to read both versions of the contract with Black America, and I'm just curious, are there activists or organizers in this movement that you've been connected to who have been doing some of this legislative advocacy and policy advocacy work?
Yeah, we connected with ADOS, and you know, we helped get.
Now, let me stop there. When you mention ADOS, I know that's gonna Roland Martin don't like ADOS. Roland Martin hate ADOS. Why? Because he can't be a part of ADOS. ADOS is American Descendants of Slaves. He can't be a part of that organization. He could probably, I mean, when I say he can't be a part, he can assist us in our movement, in the ADOS movement, but he can't be a front man for the movement, because we believe that in order to lead a movement, you got to be that movement. So if American Descendants of Slaves is going to fight for reparation and everything, then American Descendants of Slaves got to lead that movement. If you're going to be part of the LGBT rights coalition, a straight man don't need to be running that. A gay person need to run that because they know they are the heartbeat of that movement. Same thing with black women. A white woman should not be running a black women's movement. Right now, Black Lives Matter is not strictly black. Man, they got all kinds of stuff in it, and they're fighting for stuff for more than just black. And that's okay, but you can't call yourself Black Lives Matter at that point. The whole point of Black Lives Matter is you're pushing that Black Lives Matter. But deep down inside, you're more of an all lives matter. So I guess in the future, they're going to go from Black Lives Matter to All Lives Matter, and it takes away from the point that Black Lives Matter. So she's asking who did he affiliate? Well, ADOS is one. Roland don't like ADOS because Roland don't come from American Descendants of Slaves. I think Roland's background is Haitian on both sides, I believe. He may have one family member that comes from descendants of slaves. If he do, then that qualifies him as ADOS. But I don't recall that.
A bill passed in California. Governor Gavin Newsom passed AB 3121, which starts the conversation about reparations in California. So we have been connected with, a grassroots organization. We want to connect with as many grassroots organizations who are not connected to any other so-called powers that be, strictly grassroots. And we definitely want to connect with them, people who definitely have no ulterior motives, who really just want to see money get in the hands of the people who built this country and the ancestors and family of the people that built this country.
Now, before I go any further, that is key. The reason Ice Cube said that because he knows who she is, and he knows her organization got all that stuff that he was saying. I want to be connected. Ice Cube said, I want to be connected to the soil. I want to be connected to the grassroots. I want to be connected with people who don't allow powers to be to get their hands in the organization, that don't allow these political parties to get in their hand in the organization, that don't allow, corporation. I want somebody that's purely grassroots. That's who I'm hooking up with. They don't want to hear this because Roland Martin, himself, and his show is exactly what he don't want to be. He got political parties hands in his pocket, and he got these corporations hands in the pocket, and she do too, and Black Lives Matter do too, and her other organization do too. And this is going to kind of tick her off, and she's going to take this somewhere that she don't need to take this.
Do you think that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization? Because I know for the last year I've been getting death threats. I have security now 24/7 because Donald Trump and his administration has been targeting me and Patrice and Opal and thousands of other activists across the country. I understand what you're saying about trying to talk to the people. All
right, so let's stop there. So immediately she gonna go personal. Do you think Black Lives Matter a terrorist organization? What black person other than a Trump nut hugger think Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization? Black Lives Matter have not terrorized anybody. And then she goes in, well, me and my buddies, we got terror threats. We've got our lives threatened. What black leader in a black movement don't get their lives threatened? Consider you part of the collective elite. Malcolm X got his life threatened. Medgar Evers, Dr. King, you name it. Life threatened and even lost their lives. So consider yourself part of the club. They didn't get their lives got threatened. When you go start moving toward black progress, some people just gonna threaten you. So no need to cry about that. You asked for this when you asked to lead this organization. This is just part of the deal. Well, Donald Trump and his organization, they targeted me. Well, do you realize that the Democratic Party targets you too, not in a death threat way, but they already made a point not to offer you any concrete solutions to your problem. But yet you allow them to get their hand in your organization, as well as corporate donors. You're allowing them to choke your movement slowly but surely. Ice Cube, on the other hand, Democrats don't own me. Republicans don't own me. None of y'all can tell me who I can work with. Both of y'all can kiss my behind. I work with whoever I want to work with. If they really going to implement these policies to help black people, even if I have to apply pressure to get them to concede, even though they don't like us, I can apply the pressure to get them to concede like Martin Luther King did with Lyndon Baines Johnson. I'm here to deal. I'm not here to cast any favors. And I'm only going to work with people who want to get something done for black people, specifically descendants of American slaves.
Power, but I think there is a difference here in terms of who we align ourselves with, and I can't.
Who we align ourselves with? You mean who you align yourself with? So what she's doing right now is she's saying we need to align with somebody. We need to align with the Democratic Party because Trump is threatening our lives. Didn't you just hear Ice Cube tell you, I ain't aligned with nobody? See, you're giving up black power by aligning with people. Black people need to align with themselves and go to these so-called powers and let you know that I can take your power just like that. We are your power. I can determine whether Republicans beat you, and I can determine whether you Democrats beat Republicans. Now, I prefer the Democrats beat the Republicans, but you ain't going to get this free. What you got on my 40, homie? What you going to do for my people?
At all say that I take a neutral stance here. You haven't endorsed Donald Trump explicitly, but I am just curious about how you meet those things and how you match those things. How do you put forward Black agenda with a president that is attacking Black people, attacking Black organizers, attacking Black activists, and literally daring and threatening to throw us in jail for the organizing that we've been doing.
Yeah, it's true, but you got to understand, you got a organization that has pushed policies that directly attack Black people. They may not be saying it out front with their mouth, but the policy's doing more of the speaking than the mouth. And that's just as dangerous, if not more dangerous.
Well, I mean, both candidates, have their record of what they've done to Black people.
Facts.
You can look at them and see them out. I don't think Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. So that's what I think. What the president think about Black Lives Matter, that's his personal problem. Right now we feel that somebody's going to be the president. I would love to work with both parties. I'm not against the Biden campaign or nothing like that. Whoever becomes a president, I would definitely be pushing this program on them. And not only the presidents, but Congress people, senators, private sector, you name it. If you go through the contract, you could probably come up with a list of about 500 companies we can talk to about this situation. So the thing is, what I don't think is healthy for Black people is to automatically jump on one side, and if the other side loses, we just wait for 4 years to engage and hope our side win. It's time for us to let both sides understand this is a bipartisan issue like anything else going on in America.
Cube, I gotta ask you this. I want to ask you this here.
Of course, he's going to cut him off.
Because you talked about reaching out to people. Did you connect with the Congressional Black Caucus at all? Because they reached out after they saw what happened yesterday. They reached out to me, and they sent me this.
Once again, they reached out to me. Who are you? The Black Caucus is going to reach out to a YouTuber to let Black America know that we already doing what Ice Cube doing.
Sent me this. They sent me. Go to my iPad, guys. Come on. Platinum Plan versus.
See anything.
Okay. No. Right. No. I was talking to the control room. Right. I'm gonna read it to you. Platinum Plan versus contract with Black America versus CBC legislation.
So they actually is gonna show the difference between CBC, the contract with Black America, Platinum Plan, but don't have Joe Biden's plan up there. Come on, Roland. Come on, bruh. You're strictly doing this to undermine Ice Cube's position. You're strictly trying to crap on this man's effort to get some change done for his people because he's not taking a side like the CBC, which I call coon Black Caucus, because most of them people just kissing Democrat behind. They kiss Joe Biden's behind. They're a bunch of Stevens, probably about 2 or 3 of them that's actually trying to get something done for Black people. Most of them not.
Call for your CBWA calls for ending qualified immunity, banning chokeholds, and elimination of no-knock warrants. The CBC says all of that is included in the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, but it hasn't been enacted by the folks there in Congress. I mentioned.
All right, so if it hasn't been enacted by the folks there in Congress, then why don't you push this policy that's in the contract of America? Why don't you offer the contract of America? Get a contract with Black America that if we get out there in big numbers and get people to take over the seats that's blocking you, then you're going to push it. You telling us that the CBC is working on legislation like that don't mean jack. You always are working. Every day you work on legislation. People write new legislation every day. You're working on it. You're working on it. You're working on it. That working on it don't mean it's going to get passed. It's going to take getting that House and Senate in your favor to pass that. And how do you get the House and Senate in your favor? You think, well, we just should vote Democrat and get them in first and then we're going to push it. No. No. You get on record as an individual in office saying you're going to push this. So when we do oust the people who are not going to push it and get you in, and you don't do it, you're going to have a short career as a politician.
Juneteenth, the federal holiday, the same thing about anti-lynching law. Your contract calls for baby bonds of $1,000 for all new babies. The CBC says that's in their CBC's Jobs and Justice Act.
Now, what we're going to do before this week off is over with, we're going to take a look at the Jobs and Justice Act and see if that's in there. I don't trust Roland Martin, and I don't trust the CBC. But what I do know Roland Martin would do and the CBC would do, they would undermine any kind of grassroots effort to get something done. See, they figure if we lead in this, we put on the image that we're getting something done, when it's usually they're not. They're just prolonging. They just doing whatever they can to stop the grass movement from gaining the ascendancy over them.
The plan for neo-reconstruction. The CBC said we gave President Trump a 125-page detailed plan to do this in 2017. 4 years later, we've seen nothing. And according to the CBC, and I want to get you to respond to this here, according to the CBC, you propose a one-time interest-free home loan for qualified Black Americans. The CBC says, quote, this plan only addresses access to a loan for certain Black people. It does not address necessary relief provisions to prevent foreclosures and expand forbearance for homeowners. But the CBC Jobs and Justice Act does. And so what the Congressional Black Caucus says is the things that you're saying that these things have not been done, have not been focused on, they say it has been done. It's literally in our bills. They were passed by the House but ignored by the Senate. The Black Census Project that Alicia was working on, they dropped in 2019. She's saying they have been working on those things. And so just your response to that was, especially with the CBC saying, no, it's actually in our bills that have been passed. But they were passed by the House but ignored by the Senate.
My thing is keep up the good work. Keep going at it. We got to get it passed. There's going to be a lot of overlap because we got good ideas. So that's going to happen. But, until things get passed, they're not passed. So we got to push to get them passed.
Alicia, I'm going to bring Alicia in here. Cube, I think one of the things that's important, if y'all go to bring Alicia 3-shot of this, would be great. This is where, and this is what I've heard from people. I've heard from people is, man, Cube is out here with his contract, and he's dropping videos and saying things. But then you have folk like Alicia and others who are doing it.
What person is saying that? Here we go again. He's trying to undermine Cube. Cube, what you're doing is a little rinky dink. We got some real players that's out here getting it done. You ain't getting it done when you got corporate money in your pocket and you got politicians in your pocket. That's not how it gets done. That's how it dies. We're not waiting on politicians to get things done. We're going to force their hands whether you like it or not. Either you're going to get it done or you're going to be out of office. And you ain't going to put no monsters in front of my face to try to scare me from not getting this done. Either you're going to do it or you're going to be out of office. Don't tell me who's horrible. Because right now you're horrible. Either you're going to commit to getting it done, I get you in the office, you get it done, that's it. Stop trying to undermine this man, Roland.
When I last interviewed you, you said that this is where collaboration is important. And so with that in mind, you're there on the West Coast. Alicia's there on the West Coast. To me, this is an opportunity, I think, for the two of you to get together, for the other activists to get together. And so as opposed to Cube's contract and then the Black Census Project, then what the CBC is doing, this is how you take Black Collective and say, how do we take all of these plans and then begin to move and then get the policies that we want? Alicia and Cube, what do y'all think about that? Alicia first.
Well, I think a few things, and I appreciate you raising that, Roland. I mean, to me, you can't have movement on an agenda without a movement. And there are so many incredible organizers and activists.
So here she is crapping on him like he don't have a movement. He has tied his policies to the ADOS movement. He has tied his agenda to anybody that's pushing a dealing with the situation between the wealth gap between Native Blacks and Native Whites. There is a movement, young lady. Stop undermining this brother.
All over this country who are coming together and fighting back every single day. And that is what it actually takes to create this level of change. I will say that, Cube, I agree with you in terms of your frustration. I've been frustrated too. I took the Black Agenda 2020 to these campaigns, to the party, and I've had a hell of a time getting phone calls back. I've had to do a lot of maneuvering.
Again, trying to make this man feel small, like people are not going to pick up his agenda. Woman, I don't know if you really did that. You telling me that? Roland telling me you talked to the CBC? You telling me I don't know if you really did that. Both of y'all up here sound like y'all trying to undermine my efforts. All I'm trying to do is get somebody to pick this up. I'm not even trying to lead this. And for you to tell me I'm not getting nothing done, you called all these people. Well, I got something done with the governor of California. What have you done with your governor?
Even to get the smallest pieces of our plan inside any kind of platform. And so that is to be criticized, and we need to keep holding their feet to the fire. But where I disagree with the conclusion here is that, I don't think justice is a business transaction. I think if we're going to change systems, policies, and laws, we have.
This isn't about justice. This is about recompense. Justice is behind the recompense. You're only going to get as much justice as you can afford, unfortunately. And we don't want it from people who are trying to oppress us. You can't get justice from people who are trying to oppress you. It doesn't make sense. It's an oxymoron.
To get in the game and stay in the game. And I don't think it's a simple, you give me this, I get that back. I give you this, you get that back. We have to govern.
Well, glad we don't think like you think. That's your own personal thought. Anything that got done is like a business transaction. Every voting is like a business transaction. Nobody runs for office without telling them their vision for America, hoping you'll buy into that vision and make an exchange of currency called the vote. That is what you call a business transaction. So you, Sarah Michelle, and anybody else can go to, because that's not true. Voting is a business transaction. It may not be with money. A lot of time it is, but it is with your vote.
Govern an entire country, and we can't govern that way. Donald Trump is governing that way, and that's what's not working. I also want to just offer here that for me, I've heard Van Jones and others say that people need to go to the people in power. And I actually, think I understand the premise behind that. But what it overshadows in my mind is it allows them to get off the hook for all of the other egregious things that they do to our communities. I can't help but feel sick when I hear Donald Trump, talking about the First Step Act, but then also telling the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. And I don't get to actually look past that. That impacts my everyday life. I get death threats every single day from people who are listening to this president. And therefore, I don't have any confidence that even in the sense that he implements something like the First Step Act when it's convenient for him and talks mess about it when it's not, I don't have any confidence that the amount of power has been built actually to get these things done. I don't fault you for trying to move an agenda, but I don't think we can take any shortcuts here, and I certainly don't think we can jump the line. And, it would be one thing if people actually weren't working on this every day. Imagine what we could do together, Cube, if I had access to a platform like this.
Hold on.
But I don't have access.
Hold on, Alicia.
Ice Cube ain't going to let you do that.
Alicia, I know Cube has to go, but Cube, go.
This contract been out for months, so there's been, if anybody wanted to work with me, I've been open invitation from day one to work together, make the platform better, and nobody has, or very few have come out to do that. So, I'm not gonna wait to get nobody's line. If I feel like I could speak for Black people, I'm gonna go speak for Black people to whoever. And you have a plan for Biden win, but what's your plan if Trump wins? You have to have a plan for either president, and so in either administration. We can't just go dormant, because this is the problem, I think, that's been happening with us. we go dormant. We don't push both parties hard to do what needs to be done, what's right. And, some people got a whole country to run. We don't have a whole country to run. Black people in a bad situation. We don't have a pot to piss in. We ain't even really in the damn equation when you really look at it. We just get to show up and we get to go home still broke. And unless you have capital in America, you're not going to be really involved in what's going on in America when it comes to running the whole country. So we got to look after Black people and figure out how to get money in the hands of families and in this country into businesses that went down. We got to figure out how to get a lot of capital into those hands.
So can we do this here then? Can we do this? You care about Black people, Cube. I've known Alicia as well. She cares about Black people. So can we, again, as opposed to, different pieces here, this is where I think Black folks come together and say, look, we're going to sit down and talk. We're going to rap. Your number, my number, your email, my email. Let's do that.
I'm more than welcome. Anytime. I'm willing and open. Anybody who's down to help Black people get what we're supposed to get in this country through hell or high water, I'm with them.
Alicia?
Listen, I'm always ready and have been working for 20 years to improve the conditions of
She gotta put in her
Black folks. And like I said, if we had access to a platform like you have, Cube, I bet you we could have gotten a lot farther. So I look forward to working with you.
So here's what I'm gonna do. Show's over. With both of y'all permission, I will send y'all respective information so we can do that, because again, I think where we are, first of all, Cube, what you said about when folks are in power, you are correct. I have long said that even if somebody we did not vote for wins, we are still constituents. We are still taxpayers, and so they still owe us. But to Alicia's point, it's also holding them accountable when they're doing things that, frankly, are hurting us as well. And so I think what is required of us is to put that level of pressure on all folks, yet not having permanent friends, but we simply have a permanent interest. I do believe, though, that one of the great, and when you were on last time, you and I talked about this here, infrastructure is critically important. We know what your job is, what you're doing in terms of music, in terms of movies, and what your lane is. But when you have also organizations with people, that also matters as well. And so I hope we can.
So what he's saying is, this ain't your lane, Q. Your lane is music. Your lane ain't building a grassroots movement. Cube never said that he's trying to build a grassroots movement. He came up with a policy that he wanted people from the grassroots to adopt. Let me let him finish, and I'm going to close out.
Able to lock that down. Final thoughts, Ice Cube, you first.
I let everybody know what I was going to do, and I don't understand the issue with it. One of these guys are going to be the president, and at the end of the day, whoever that is, we got to go press him.
Alicia.
That's just it.
Yeah, I think accountability requires a movement. It's not done over a boardroom table. It's done by bringing folks with you. And so I'm excited to be working with, so many people across the country, the 30,000 people that we surveyed across all political ideologies, incomes, demographics, to really start to lock down not only what these policy issues look like, but also training people to be the people who are making the rules. And so again, Cube, I look forward to working with you.
All right, then. Ice Cube, I appreciate it. This is also.
All right. All right. Now I know that was long. It is 3:30 in the morning, and but I wanted to deal with that because it was important to hear Ice Cube's side. It's important to hear Roland Martin, the guy who gave me a strike, side, and put it in perspective. Ice Cube is not going to listen to you guys. You're not going to get him to buy into politics. For you to sit there and act like this man don't know what he's doing and he's out of his lane, that, you know, shame on him to be talking to Trump and you know, putting forth an initiative that's going to call Trump and the Biden campaign to accountability. Shame on him for do that. Go rap, bruh. Go do another movie. Shame on you. This is not your deal. You don't know if that's not his deal or not. His point was, I'm coming up with something, a manifesto, a platform. If somebody want to adopt it, fine. Look, me, I'm a YouTuber. I came up with the People's Manifesto, which include reparations. I went a little too far over in the reparation, but it's the same thing. I was like, if you guys want to take this and go in the face of your politician, let them know if you're not going to do this and this and this, I ain't vote for you, go for it. That's what it's all about. This don't have to have an infrastructure. The bottom line is if you're not going to do with this is a code. There's a difference between a code. You want to talk about infrastructure, we're talking about a code. The code is, if you don't want to do this, we ain't voting for you. See, that's where Bernie Sanders failed with his policy. He didn't make it a code. He didn't understand what you got, what that thing you had, Bernie Sanders, was a code for all people. And when you leave that code, then the people going to leave you. You don't represent progressives. You don't represent progressive issues, but that code do. That platform do. That is a system of belief, that platform. So when you decide, I'm going to support my friend Joe Biden, I'm going to support him, the corporatist who already said I'm not going to fundamentally change anything. I'm not for Medicare for all. If you put it on my desk, I'm going to veto it. He's saying all to this stuff in your face. I'm not for fracking, blah, 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 blah. I dare you to believe that the people who support that platform is going to support Joe. The only way those people are going to support Joe is Joe support some of that platform. So I suggest you go to Joe and tell Joe so he can win in a landslide instead of taking the risk. Don't do what Hillary Clinton did, spit in the face of the platform, didn't want to make you vice president, made Tim Corporate Kane vice president, spit in the face of your platform, undermined the Unity Commission, all that crap, cheated in the election, finger on the scale, Debbie Wasserman Show, all this crap. You don't expect independents and non-voters and even some Democrats who supported that platform they're just going to support and vote for you. No, not a lot of them sat out. You can't afford to do that because it's not about the infrastructure. Bernie Sanders didn't build an infrastructure. He have our revolution and everything. That's the infrastructure. But the people follow Bernie Sanders because of the policies, not because of Bernie. The moment Bernie stepped away from that and supported Joe, millions of people said, forget you, Bernie. I'm not supporting you. And now Bernie is screaming, please vote for Joe. Please vote for Joe. Please vote for Joe. And it's going right out the other ear because Joe is taking the risk of not implementing those policies to secure their vote. He'll rather die. He'll rather bite the bullet. He'll rather lose than allow a super progressive platform to take over. Likewise with Cube. Cube came up with the platform. ADOS came up with the platform. The black media came up with the platform. It's a code. No black agenda, no vote. You can go look at the code. It's on my Facebook. It's on my Facebook. The 6 steps, things that have to take place. And if you're not in support of those things, you're not going to get the vote. It's about that. You don't need an infrastructure. All we need is people to buy into that. And when we got millions of people buying into that and millions of people committing to that, then and millions of people going to the politicians through Twitter, through Facebook. If you knock on my door and you represent that campaign, take this message back to your person running for office. He don't support this agenda. I ain't supporting him. You can try to fear among me all you want. I'm not. I want justice done. If you want my election, bend the knee and support that. Stop being proud. Stop being arrogant. Stop assuming you're going to get the vote anyway. Oh, we have floor fights and, the Bernie Sanders supporters upset and with the Hillary supporters at the end of the day, they're all going to vote for Hillary Clinton. No. Why? Because you who run for office is responsible for securing the vote. If that person don't vote for you, you can't get mad at that person. You got to be mad at yourself because you were too proud to offer concessions in exchange for that vote. It is a business transaction. Don't let nobody in the world tell you that. It's still a business transaction. I want something for my vote. Nobody really, at least it should be that way. The reason you come to me and ask for my vote is because you're going to do something I think need to be done. And if it hits me in my heart, that's how I vote for you. If you say you're going to do this, something I know need to be done, I'm going to be motivated to go out and vote for you. Right now in this election, anybody but Trump is not going to be enough for everybody. Some people have some real things bigger than Trump. And I know you think there's nothing bigger than Trump, but some people have some real issues bigger than Trump. Healthcare, no cost of healthcare would do a lot for somebody that's dealing with some serious medical issues. For Biden to say, if you put it on my desk, I'm going to veto it. No, Biden, that's the wrong thing to say. The right thing to say is, no, I'm going to push it. I need that vote. You do whatever you can. And when it comes to the black community, we're letting you know a lot of people are going to start, a lot of black people are not going to be fearmongering. And people are going to mention the democracy and they're going to mention the judges. Oh, don't mention the judges. Because Democrats are fast-tracking all of Trump's judges, Democrats. They're not even putting up a fight. Obama left all these judges available. Now, of course, Mitch McConnell made it hard for them to approve the judges, but the point is, too many judges that was open. Chuck Schumer, the Democrat, fast-tracked all these judges for Trump. He didn't have to do that. He could have did what Mitch McConnell did, but he didn't. He fast-tracked them. So plus 9 times out of 10, majority of these judges are white supremacists or white supremacist supporters. Everybody make a big deal about RBG. RBG was not into black issues. She was more into women issues than black issues. And when blacks tried to rise up, she ridiculed and mocked it. And she was too close to that bigot, Justice Scalia. They were best friends. And y'all making this lady a hero? I lost 20 subscribers just now. She's not a hero to me. She fought for women's rights, but looked down on when Colin Kaepernick took the knee, she scolded him. See, my number one thing is I'm not against Trump. I'm against white supremacy. That includes Trump. But it also includes the other white supremacist bigot. My fight is against white supremacy, and my fight is for black empowerment, not asking for blacks to take over the United States, but we should get our equal fair share in everything that white society has. Why? Because we helped them build this. We should be able to share. They're not going to allow that to happen. They're not going to do it. And the only way you can force the people's hand is you, as the real power of the Democratic Party, any party, black people, step away from these parties and say, look, you're not going to count on me for a vote. You're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to earn it. So what are you going to do for it? See, a nice, beautiful woman would say, look, you ain't just going to get this, bruh. I know you turned on. You should be turned on. I'm hot as I don't know what. I'm hot like fire. Look at this. Pow, pow, pow. Look at all this. I'm fine as I don't know what. But you ain't just going to get this, bro. You're going to earn it. I'm giving you an opportunity to earn me. Chase me. Fall in love with me. This ain't going to be no easy go, bruh. I'm worth it. I'm valuable. You want my heart? See, understand, before you get all this, you got to get into here. And if you ain't getting into here, you ain't getting none of this. Now, you can get this, but you got to get in here first. It's no different from politics. Ice Cube is right on it. Roland Martin ain't nothing but a bunch of undermining punks. Yeah, I said it, you punk. I don't know what to say about this guy. But look, I'm out with this one. I got another one coming up tomorrow. I love you guys. Good night. Go to sleep. Twitch people, go to sleep. But it's 3:40. I need to go to sleep. I got something to do tomorrow, including laundry. But Ice Cube is right. Ice Cube hold his ground. You better check yourself, Roland, before you wreck yourself. You got to check yourself, Roland. What are you doing to empower black people? Talking to CBC ain't getting it done. Interviewing Barack Obama didn't get it done. What are you doing? Black Lives Matter lady, I understand what you're doing, but the moment you let politicians and you let corporate money get into your organization, you begin to allow these people to strangle your movement. Now it's not about just black people anymore. It's about everybody. Nothing wrong with that, but there's a season when it has to be for black empowerment. And that season is now. I'm Rob Brown with the Rob Report. I'll holler at you later. Peace. Keep doing what you're doing, Ice Cube. Keep working with the people that's going to push this. ADOS is not the only one, okay? It's a whole lot more organizations on that same level from the grassroots that I think you need to be getting with. When you get a chance, look at the Black Agenda. I mean, I got it up on my website. It's all in black. Matter of fact, I think it's the top marker on my Facebook group, the few things that we as a black community demands. I'm Rob Brown with the Rob Report. I'll let you later. Peace.